we're here to put this inside this. Oops. It's the L9A. So like it's gonna be super compact. Let's go ahead and mount it. Get it off, check it off the list. I think it mounts directly. Let's look at the instructions. The way they recommend doing it is doing it inverted. So the screws actually screw in from the back plate into the heatsink. So that's the OG back plate. We won't be using that. This is all of my old Noctua mounting stuff. I had the larger mounting kit, or a larger heatsink for small form factors. That's funny. There's actually a larger small form factor one. But yeah, see how they got the heatsink sitting on the ground, and then they've got the back plate getting screwed into it. So that's what we're gonna be doing. But first, we're gonna apply, the Noctua thermal paste. Just enough. Alrighty, so the problem we're gonna have with this heatsink is it's almost too long for this build. We kind of we didn't do a dry fit, but we did just like a over the head fit. And those knobs on the heat pipes actually hit the NVMe controller. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to go like this. Getting the backplate screws. That's those guys. We've got our processor installed. We are inverting it. Sorry if I'm blocking the cam. There we go. Oh yeah, there's barely enough vertical clearance. Holy cow, that's crazy. And then that was the plate. I believe it's ambi, so it doesn't matter. I kind of wish I could use the other back plate, but. And unfortunately, there's very little tension. There's no like retention or tension mechanisms. The other Noctua heatsinks, they have the little spring mounted stuff, which is really nice. Oh yeah, this is super. Noctua, like I said, they make some pretty good stuff. It's well engineered and it's very thoughtful about how the build goes. There we go, that one bit. Locked and loaded. So now we just gotta rotate our screws. And we do have to be careful with the spring, the tension of the screws, because since I'm using a fatter screwdriver, I could be over torquing by accident. But look at that clearance. So this was where sorry, the camera. This is where the heat pipes, I might have been able to get the heat pipes over here. Doesn't really matter. Plenty of clearance. But yeah, look at that. That's crazy. Look at that stack up. This is the back plate. It barely sticks out above the back plate. You could put this like in a shoebox. What I do like is this is the same fan that's on the larger, look at that, and the clearance on the V-Regs, I didn't even take that into account. There you go. Yeah, see that? That black like stack right there, that's the heat sink for the V-Regs. So what'll be interesting is when the next gen APUs launch, I'm really gonna try and see if someone will send me their 3400G, and I'm gonna try and water cool this. I think that'd be super fly. Look at that. That's a computer. That all, oh my gosh, it's so heavy, it's so dense. So that all fits inside of here. The original plan was to use this motherboard tray as like the mounting system for the build. But since the PlayStation came apart so easy, this is the bottom of the PlayStation, and this is the lid. So the question becomes, how do we want to mount it? We originally thought maybe mounting it like upside down would be okay. Because I mean, that technically would fit. I'd have to make some mods to the plastic chassis, but it would fit, and we would of course cut some holes for the fan. Oops. Right? Nope, that was right. So that's the front of the case. Of course, I'd have to chop out some of the back here. Actually, it almost fits. I could plug it in. So yeah, somehow mount it inside of there. The problem is I'm pretty sure whatever I decide, I have to chop these off. Which kind of sucks because those were some pretty major structural components. The other thing I'm trying to do is keep this relatively easy to edit later, because I might want to put, or I'm going to try and get that next gen processor. Yeah, those screws are just barely the wrong size. Maybe we go out the top. The top might give us a little extra clearance. Still have to drop those two. I still think it'd be cleaner to have it coming out the back. Can't go out the bottom. That's lame. So let's do this. We're gonna stick to the original. We're gonna stick to the original plan. We're gonna use this as our mounting face. I'm gonna chop off all of this metal on the bottom. I've got an angle grinder. We're gonna have to mute my mic here in a second. But I'm gonna chop off all of this stuff. Chop off all that stuff. And then that way I can glue directly into this case. This strong structural metal. I can possibly use this faceplate as the mounting surface as well. Since it'll be glued into the bottom, when I remove it, I just pull the thing up. I think that's how it's gonna be. I like it, it's a good plan. Cemented, yes, we're gonna epoxy the metal to the plastic. I made sure the epoxy I had worked with plastic. Granted, I don't know if this is the right type of plastic. We'll find out. This is ABS plastic, so yes, it should work. LMFAO, holy smokes, that's an angle grinder. Yeah, boy. I told you guys we were gonna mod. I wasn't kidding. Let's make some space though. One thing I do need to be mindful of is sparks. I don't want to like catch my computer on fire. I don't think it will, but. Hey, the compressor. I love it. You know, it would be great if I like chopped my finger off on stream. I think that'd be great. We're just gonna be careful. All right, guys, I'm gonna go on mute. Enjoy being deaf for a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad I have that mute button pretty available. Makes it a lot easier. I'm gonna see how unbearable this angle grinder is. I think it's gonna be too much. I don't have to cut all that much metal, but I do have to cut a bit. Who needs gloves, right? I'm all about mocking. I need to move the computer. I don't want that to get any metal fragments on it. Of course, I don't have an anti-static bag, so it's gonna sit on my kid's little Jeep. All right, here we go, guys. All right, probably should have wore hearing protection. So that got that off. Ooh, that's hot. I saw sparks flying. Guess what I have right next to that? A lighter. That's not safe. Shoot. What I'll probably end up doing is prying the rest of that down. No, I'll probably cut it a little finer. Maybe rotate it to cut it. But let's keep going. That's just so dangerously close to my hands. I'm definitely going to get the rotary tool to do that part. Yeah, definitely getting the rotary tool for that one. But we can go ahead and chop this other part off. So I am making some progress. It's not a lot, and I probably could cut through it faster. You know, I bet 10 snips would do this really easy too, to be honest. But I don't have any 10 snips. All right, so we do have our little hand one, but it's gonna have a higher pitch whee sound, and it won't have as much torque on it, but it's got all these fancy little heads on it. That disc looks like it's almost gone. So I do need to plug this in. So we've proven we can cut with the rotary tool. It's gonna take frickin' forever. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and cut it with the angle grinder. Transition, there we go. And I'm also not cutting in a straight line. So we'll have to polish that up with the rotary tool a bit. But honestly, we're making a lot more progress than what we would have gotten with the rotary tool. It's not that it's tough steel. I'm just trying to be super cautious and not like slice my hands off. I'm actually going to go get, I think I've got some channel locks, and I'm going to try and clamp it to the table. There's some mirroring for wow. Wow. Yeah. Fun. Well, anyways, beyond destroying my ears, we got pretty close. So that's the rude cut. I did unfortunately kind of bend this, so we'll have to bend it back into shape. Yeah. Fortunately though, you know, hearings, it regenerates a little bit, as long as it's not like continuous. But we're getting there. So I'm gonna take the rotary sander, file all that down, and I'll take the rotary tool and chop off some of this other stuff. That was really the biggest part. I honestly don't need the big boy no more. I wish I had my compressed air though. I do know I got some stuff splattered all around the place. So we're gonna do the rotary tool now, and we're gonna get to fine tuning some of these little cuts and hopefully start gluing some stuff soon. So I just got to thinking, it might have just been easier to build the motherboard mount. I love how one of the goals of me putting the computer over here was to like not have shards fly on it, and the sparks were like flying straight into my face pretty much that entire last rotary tool operation. But we are going to swap into the sanding tool. This rotary tool is getting quite hot. I can definitely tell the Harbor Freight hardware was not designed for this extended use. Don't get me wrong, it's working fine. It's cutting through this light sheet metal pretty good. It was having some problems with the rivet. There was a rivet in the front section that was pretty hard. So we do have a pickle. I'm probably gonna do it with the Dremel tool. I got it kind of all sanded down. It's somewhat similar size. I might have some problems here, but everything's relatively smooth. I probably could sand down here a little bit, but this ridge right here in the center, it's a little too popping out. The problem is I don't want to bend this. Maybe, because like right now it almost stands still. It's just that damn ridge. I might just take the, sorry if I'm not seeing this, I might just zap all that out with the angle grinder. All right, so I think we got this done. Look at that. It sits flat. It either sits flat on the edge or it sits flat on, but I think we've got this figured out. I'm finding all these little bitty pieces that I missed. There's like another little leg that I didn't cut right here. Oh yeah, that's not bad. The rest should be plastic. Oh yeah. All right, we're back in action now, guys. Sorry for the extended cutting session. We'll probably keep coming back to the Dremel. I do need to cut that right there so I can fit that in there. But we're gonna keep chopping. I think we're gonna just cut all of this plastic right Let's start here. We don't want to chop too much off and then regret it. They always say, only remove what you need to. So what I'm trying to cut is these guys, make them flush. Yeah, I could remove it all if I wanted to. I might have to, because, boom, look at that. That fits perfect. It's almost square. That's square. And if I did it that way, let's get the motherboard real quick. I really don't want to have to chop the top of the motherboard. That would really upset me. So that's set off. Okay. And then there's the PlayStation. I gotta cut off the back. How much of the back? And I need to cut off the tops. So I think that's gonna be how we set it, guys. I do need to chop off. Let's set this to the side because that's practically done. Now it's just hot gluing 4 spots. Let's just, I don't want to tear that just yet. All right, so we need to chop this fully off. Oh, damn. Do I need to cut that one? Maybe, ooh, no, we don't. We don't have to cut that one because that one goes in the front. We do have to cut this one though. All right, so now let's slap that guy back there. Honestly, it's a little bulgy. It better not be this top. I really don't want to have to cut this whole piece of metal. I could drill the rivets out, but then I'd have to build a back plate for it. Or maybe it's just not sitting because... No, it's definitely because of that. It's definitely because of this back plate. Oh well, I could chop off a good portion of it with the old angle grinder. But I do need to cut off some of this back plate. How much do I need to cut is the question. All right, I've got metal shards like all over me now, but that's fine. We're getting really close, guys. So, let's swap back over to that guy. So that's gonna get glued and epoxied right there. And then this guy is gonna fit right over the top. There we go. I probably didn't have to cut off much of it, but that's the case. There it is, guys. So we're gonna glue this thing now. Actually, I need to sand up the top. That's pretty bad. I won't be plugging this in. We probably won't be plugging the motherboard in because I need to dust it off thoroughly. There's been shards of metal flying everywhere, and I would hate to accidentally short something out because of the, something flying around. So let's sand this off real quick. Let's make sure the faceplate still fits in it. I imagine it does. I haven't really bent anything. I haven't tried to bend anything. I've been trying to be as gentle as possible with the build. Yep, the backplate still fits perfectly fine. And I think it's time to glue. Like, I've got epoxy, I just didn't bring any, like, I guess I could put it on that wood. I just didn't bring anything to, like, put the epoxy in or on. So the big question will be, can we get it square? Actually, what we'll do is I'll hold my hand for 5 minutes, which really sucks, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Alrighty, here we go. Alright, here we go. That's it. There it is, guys. Got our case in. It was a journey. Took a little longer doing the choppity chop than I would have wanted, but we did save a lot of time by being able to just remove the PlayStation out of this plastic case. I'm really surprised at how smooth that went. I'm surprised with how well everything's been fitting. I'm glad there's been conveniently space to put this thing without, you know, much modification. You know, it looks a little janky in the back. We're gonna come back and clean it up, and we're gonna have a little bit more, you know, cleanup to work to do. Other than epoxying this one thing, there's not much else to do. I can install stuff underneath the motherboard. I can shove cables underneath this motherboard tray. This motherboard tray is really the lifesaver of this build, to be honest. It's giving us our mounting points. It's giving us some structure to the build. And, you know, I think we've got plenty of fun stuff we can do with this thing. I appreciate every one of you guys that's been on, but that's it. I know I haven't said it for 5 minutes, but oh, one thing we didn't think about, and I guess we could talk about that now. Where are we gonna mount the button? So this black ribbon cable is our button and our LED. I'm kind of curious where we're gonna put it. Another thing I didn't remember to do, the front panel, you know, we might just like puncture some holes in the front and feed that in as necessary. I think the buttons might go in the memory cards slots, maybe like that. We'll put a big old piece of acrylic on top of it, cut out the button. Could put it up here. That might be pretty cool. Just wire it out like that, and wire it in like this, plug it in, and then you can still use the button. Might have to just drill holes and fill that with some like plexiglass or something so that the light can emit through. Then with the CD player, I do need to pop out the front grill. I'll need to like glue that in place, and then for the controllers, I'll need to dismantle that and put those in place. So yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is minor touch-ups, and I just need to beautify the back a little bit. It's a little rough around the edges, if you know what I'm saying. So I think we got a pretty good handle on how we're gonna finish this build. So if you liked what you see, hit the follow button. Also, if you would like to help fund some of this extravaganza stuff, I think we're gonna end the stream there. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's been pretty fun. I might have caught the case modding bug, maybe.